Hello, my friends. My name is Jessie Marino, and this is my beautiful friend Heather Bianca, and we are here to talk to you about sovereign rebirth, a journey to embody our deep self and open to wild love. I know I speak for both of us when I say this is the stuff that we wish we had in our back pocket when we entered the world as adults. This is the stuff we wish they taught us in kindergarten, in first grade, when we were first coming into relationships with new people. This is the stuff that we wish was nurtured in our homes, in all of the dynamics that we were built by. And though it wasn't, it's our journey through the fire that has led us to cultivating something that gives others the opportunity to reshape their relationship with self and with each other. So I would love to hear what you're most excited about in terms
Mm,
of our Sovereign Rebirth program.
so much, yes. I can't wait. I'm
Yeah.
so excited to bring forth and share with you these tools that we have learned along the way, practices, embodiment practices, and just ways of being that support us in having the most thriving, juicy, and delicious relationships, like beyond our wildest dreams. That
Mhm.
definitely was not the case in my earlier experiences. And I'm so grateful to have found these communities, these teachings, and it's really my heart's mission to bring that to as many people as I can so they can experience that too.
And I can speak to this personally that Heather is the reason why my personal relationships are not a massive dumpster fire. And I'm so grateful for all that she has modeled and taught in Wild Essence over the last 7 years. We're so grateful that we get to create this together. And some of the stuff that we've decided to include in this program that we think is some of the most foundational, but also really deep, I think, pieces of the puzzle. Of course, we have to talk about our nervous systems because the way we're wired physiologically and the experiences that have imprinted on us are in so many ways predetermining our reactions without our awareness at all. So, of course, we have to talk about what's going on in the body that is making it so difficult for us to be in deep relationship with self and with other people. And then we also have to talk about how relationship has really shaped our personality, our behavioral patterns, how all the relationships in our lives have kind of built us, and how important it is for us to have nourishing relationships as healthy human beings in the world. I know from witnessing you that community and connection is one of your highest values and something that I think has filled you in so many ways. Can you speak to that?
Yes. So once I found these communities and conscious community and tantra and conscious relating, I
Mhm.
couldn't look back because once I experienced that, it's everything I'd ever wanted and been looking for. Deep, loving, nurturing relationships, platonic, intimate, and in every which way.
Mhm.
And it opened my heart to existing and having the most beautiful life. Like just my existence became so much richer and deeper just by the experiences I was having, the relationships I was cultivating and building. And it meant the world to me. So, wanting to share that more and more, really, I want everyone to experience that. Like, I can't reiterate that enough.
And for me, I think one of my highest values is embodiment. I mean, I started as a movement teacher. Like, that's where this began for me because I have always felt and have felt really deeply since finding my own doorways to movement and to embodiment practice that there is such immense wisdom in sensation. There is so much that we can extract from any given moment that the body, the being, and the relationship to the world around us is communicating. And if we can slowly begin to learn that language, the language of body, the language of presence, then we can bring that to these relationships. And it's so vital for me that it's both pillars there, that it's like, in order for us to relate to others, it does start with our ability to have a relationship with ourselves. And it expands beyond that and it ripples through that because it's almost like you fill the vessel so much that it overflows into the capacity for a relationship. So as much as getting to know some of our more wounded places or our scar tissue can be a challenging journey, I think it's one of the most rewarding and nurturing things I've ever done for myself. It's the
Mm.
reparenting that I needed. It's the showing up for myself in all the ways that I didn't receive that has made it so that I'm able to be in relationship with others in a way that is so honorable. What
Mm.
are some of your most favorite sections that you're planning on delivering over the course of the
Oh,
journey? What are you excited to offer?
wow. Oh, that's a tough one, I know. Um, ah,
All of
Big piece on
it.
shame resilience. I think it's like starting from the ground up, like you just said, like these foundational pieces. I think shame resilience is a big one.
Mm.
Um, I really enjoy like the beginnings of self-awareness and personal development because it's so important to not bypass any of that. And in doing so, we become more emotionally current. So we're not, like you said, reacting or living from these earlier stages or earlier, years, and we're coming to this current present version of ourselves, and then able to move in relationship from there. We're able to be in relationship in such a richer way when we're operating from overflow instead of lack or instead of our old wounded places. And um and yeah, just learning to hold our center. So I think the shame resilience is a big one. I think there's so much shame in the world that our culture is just constantly inundating us with more and more ways we need to be better. And it's like totally just like undoing that and bringing, humanness to it more and more. Really, this whole course could just be called On Being Human, because we're just we're out here trying to human the best we can. And um, and just all being with each other, walking each other home, like Ram Dass says, it's to me one of the most beautiful ways of experiencing life is just we're all here to support each other in this lifetime.
Absolutely. I think one of the ones that I'm most excited about, I love having the conversation about awareness that helps us to make every moment easier to discern. I love being able to go, okay, what's really happening here? That quality of awareness and presencing and having that conversation to be able to go, what is occurring right now? And then how do I feel about it? And what sensations am I having? And what am I making it mean? That has been so revolutionary for my life to be able to
Mm.
differentiate between fact and feelings, to be able to discern between objective and subjective information, and then allow for the way that I relate with others to actually be referencing that differentiation, to actually be able to meet another person with the awareness of what actually occurred versus what I'm feeling, all of which is valid, but my ability to see that changes the entire trajectory of the interaction that I might have with another person and the way that my communication has deepened. And I love the way you speak to communication stuff. So that's another thing I'm very excited of that you're going to be offering
Mm.
too, is in regard to how we show up in those communications. Do you feel like speaking to that gently?
Yeah. Oh,
Thanks.
conscious communication has such a special place in my heart. And um, it changes the way we are with ourselves, the way we talk to ourselves, first and foremost, of course, and the way we can use language, whether it be verbal language or energetic language, body language. There's so many ways that we communicate that we don't even realize on such subtle levels, right? And and becoming much more attuned to those subtleties creates so much more room for expansiveness, for depth, for connection. And it's like, why wouldn't we want that?
Yeah, exactly. And the curiosity that you bring, and that I think we have had to learn to bring to every moment, is just such a huge growth edge, I think, for a lot of people. Just the process of which we do discuss, the ability to allow our awareness and sensitivity to start to inform what our needs might actually be in any given moment. This is the concept of where sovereign came from. It's like, can I be whole unto myself means, can I notice what is going on in my system and what I need? And in this rebirth, our intention, as we will go through those things, is how do I bring that into my relationships, this awareness? How do I bring that into my relationships in a way that is truly transformative to their capacity for depth? And can I, and this is the hardest part of the whole thing, can I slowly begin to de-armor myself
Mm.
and take off some of the protections that have really gotten me this far and helped me not die, right? That was the intention.
Completely.
And from this more emotionally mature lens, can I begin to remove some of that armor so that I can show up the way that I really actually crave to at the deepest level, which is as love for love, right? Like
Mm.
that's what we want, and we know it at some level underneath, whether we're willing to admit it or not. And it's how I want to move through my life, not for other people, but for my quality of life, because my quality of life has improved
Mm.
so immensely through that doorway in particular,
Mm.
through the softening and the vulnerability of allowing the truth of my heart, the truth of a moment to matter and to lead. And that's something that you always carry into every space I've ever seen you in. Like, and I'm so grateful that we get to do this together, because you and I mean, we've known each other since we were little girls, right? We were little girls in first grade together,
Yeah.
and we both had different kinds of challenging childhoods. And we both, I remember sitting next to you at a couple moments where you were very quiet in school too, right? You were very quiet. And we were both protecting in our own ways. Me probably from talking too much, and we were both protecting like in our own ways, but we were
Yeah.
kind of just near each other in these very protected states. And it wasn't until adulthood that we both had kind of gone through some intense fires of our own, that we met each other again with our hearts,
Yeah.
and just I think fell in love with each other in seeing each other so fully. um
Yeah.
and we've nurtured a really beautiful friendship since that time, and we've watched each other grow and change, and we know how to support each other in such a healthful way that allows for sovereignty and spaciousness, but also this constant knowing like that person loves me, and if I need them, they'll be there.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm honored to be your friend.
Mm.
I am, and I'm so grateful to be doing this with you. And I'm just so excited for every person that gets to receive the medicine that you gifted to me.
Mm.
And that's really what this is all about, and why we're here at all, is because
Mm.
Heather helped to open my heart, and now I want the world's hearts to open.
Mm. I'll cry right now.
Yeah, I'm like,
It really comes down to just that, like a willingness to to let your heart crack open a little bit in the softest ways, even when it's uncomfortable, and letting the love seep back in and out,
both ways, yeah.
melting the armor, de-thawing, and just seeking whatever, wherever feels safe, safe
Mhm.
enough for that to happen, cultivating that within ourselves, finding community, finding relationship that feels like that matches that.
Yeah.
And it all unravels from there. And so that's what we're here to do, is to be that support, and that the cheerleaders that are going to uh, be there, like, yes, it's okay to open your heart again. And I think you'll agree that it feels really good. That's where
It's
we
worth
want to
it.
be.
It's so worth choosing to lead in this way, to lead our lives in this way. And I'm very excited that this iteration of Sovereign Rebirth also allows for people to have some practice with each other
Yeah.
and with people in their lives so that we can, because it's a muscle we're exercising, you know, your heart actually is a muscle that you're exercising, right? So there's so much practice involved and we're going to stumble, but the whole intention is that we learn how to hold a radical degree of compassion for ourselves.
Mhm.
And I think when we do that, it's impossible for it not to extend out to the people in our world because we can't unsee that if we had lived that life, we would be that person, right? Like we can't unsee that. And to be able to let ourselves feel at a wider and wider capacity, which of course is, you know, one of my life's love affairs is what more can we feel? You know, like what is the extent of the sensory experience of being human and the vastness of gratitude and love and compassion in my body in very direct proportion to all of the very hard things has been one of the gifts of my life to be able to
Mm.
feel, you know, from being as numb as I was to be able to feel so deeply is a huge gift that I would not send back. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So we so hope that you will join us. We don't know how far into the future you might be viewing this video, but we hope that you'll join us and that you'll receive so much from this. That is what we're doing it for. So, yes, until then, I guess. Yeah.
Mm.
Mwah.